Hello, it's Karceno here. Let's speak on it, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to break down an NBA player's contract. That's right. Get yourself situated. Now it's time to go to school. So you can never say you weren't educated on how this thing works. Now, we've seen countless times NBA players, professional athletes get these big contracts, and you see them on TV. They say, oh, he signed $136 million. And you just think right away he has $136 million in the bank. And he'd be like, where's your money go? Where could your money go? He must be a fool to lose all that money. What an idiot. He's broke. We've said that countless times. I've sat there and said it countless times. Growing up as a kid and a teenager, they showing you the money, and the next thing you know, they're broke, and you're like, what? That just doesn't make any sense. So, people go through things. You know, I know a couple of people that have played in the National Basketball Association. They did everything they could. You know, they did everything right. Or so they thought. Things just didn't work out. Right? It just didn't work out the way they thought it would work out. So, let's look at how an NBA player is paid, right? Now, players are not all paid the same. Can we all agree on that? I'm going to need a drink. I'm going to need a drink. Because I think we going to be here for a minute to explain this. So, hopefully Kwame sees this video. Well, he could tell you better than anybody because he played in the league. So, he would know more and better than I would. But I need a drink. I would choose Powerade, but I'm gonna need some of the hard stuff today. Get me a nice good old cold beer. Get this day cranking. Yes, sir. Get it cranking. Now, no, that's not Rolling Rock. Now, the money an NBA player can make is categorized in different ways when they have their collective bargaining agreements, you know. So everybody don't get paid the same, you know. Like I said, both the players for its own earnings, you know, and all those different things, salary caps, you got luxury tax, you can get traditional, regular salary, bonus pay, short-term contract, a guaranteed contract. There's so many different ways and different contracts and different factors that go into making a contract for an NBA player. That is the good stuff. Now, let's get into those. When someone say a base contract, what they're saying is you're getting base salary. That's like, that includes bonus, let's say that they have a current base contract. That means this is like the average of what someone would get. They have what they call deferred base contract and stuff like that. I will explain the difference. Now, when you talk about current base contract, that's like a regular paycheck. Okay? Now, about 20% must be paid to your current base contract. Okay? And a semi-monthly installment starting like on the 15th of each year of November, basically, and continuing on the 1st and 15th. Right? Till it's paid in full. Now everybody on Link know about the 1st and 15th. They be, hey, 1st and 15th, baby. 1st, 15th. Now, deferred pay, that's any base contract, right? Any base salary for, like, let's say a season, an NBA thing that's payable like after May the 1st. You know, it's like no more than 25% of the player's salary for the season and all that stuff. You know, that could be deferred. You know, in the salary cap purposes and things like that. You already see that for the cap, they'll just defer it to a later date. Okay? But it all has to be in that same season. Like, they could defer it to a later date so that they could pass a salary cap rules. Have you seen players do that? But it has to be within the same year. So hopefully you still with me. Stay with me now. There's unique salary cap rules for, you know, these deferred compensations. You know, so there's a whole lot of other gray areas in that terms for the contract. So don't lose me. Okay? Stay rocking with your boy. All right? Now, incentive compensations. You get those incentive bonuses for different things. Like, say, like, you had a bonus for your performance. Now, what that means is, like, if you get the MVP award that year, you made all NBA teams. You guys know what that means. NBA of the finals, or your team make the finals. These are called like performance bonuses, right? Mostly they're called benchmarks in your contract. But other people decide that. It's not even based on your abilities. This is why people kiss the media's ass. Because the media dictates that. They shouldn't, because most of these dudes haven't never played the game of basketball. They couldn't draw up a play on the blackboard to save their life. But guess what they get? They get all the benefits, don't they? Now, they got what they call the likely and unlikely, right? That's a performance bonus, but it's differently. A performance bonus is more like the likely bonus, what they saying that it's earned by team and player performance, and it's identical to the prior year. For a rookie, or let's say a veteran who did not play in the prior year, or a player who has joined an expansion team or something like that, they could earn a performance bonus based on the team's performance. That bonus is what they call a likely bonus. So it's like well likely to be earned. See, all other bonuses are called unlikely bonuses, you know, and that is detailed in the NBA's players associations, and, you know, they cannot agree or disagree and on what it will be earned, what it won't be earned. There's what is that? A team performance bonus. Now, when you get a team performance bonus, that player can earn what they call a first year out of his contract, or it could be approved that, you know, his unlikely bonus in any season, but just as long as it don't exceed 15%, you know, of the base contract, then it's okay. As long as it don't exceed the 15% of the base contract, you're okay. Then once it's approved, okay, only likely bonuses are actually included in the team's salary for salary cap purposes, not unlikely bonuses. Once a player achieves an unlikely bonus, by definition, that bonus is treated as a likely bonus for the next salary cap year, not the year it's in there, the next year. All these things are little tidbits and tricks to help keep teams under the salary cap and hide money so they could defer it to other seasons. These are workarounds and rewards. Now, they can have physical conditions for the whole thing, everything. Kid you not. It's all the same. So when you start seeing things appear clearly, then you start to get a bigger picture. I mean, seriously, you got physical condition. Like they might say, hey, we might need you to lose weight. Oliver Miller had that when he was with the Phoenix Suns. I never forget, he had to lose all that weight. And they were paying him to do that. Kevin Duckworth, after the NBA Finals in 1991, he lost about 100 pounds. And they paid him a benchmark for that, physical condition benchmark. You can get promotional appearances. Let's say you're the team sponsor in commercials. You get $3,500 for per appearance. Some pay $5,000 depending on the athlete, the entertainer, however it is. You know, you never know. Whoever you are, you can get those type of bonuses and appearances. All different types, right? Contracts are about this thick. Sometimes they're about this thick with a lot of verbiage in there, depending on what's actually going on. Sometimes it's 2 pages. Literally, it's not a lot of pages. Sometimes. Yep. Me, just chilling. Hopefully you guys hit the like button. Date night was okay. But thanks for asking. And when I mean thanks for asking, I mean those who asked me. In the comment section from watching my other video. I've never been a go with the flow type of human being. I've always been a thinker. My teacher noticed it in 1st grade. My kindergarten teacher should have known. I was always smarter than everybody in the class. Didn't always have the highest score in the class. That's because I didn't try to have the highest score in the class. My common sense chart was off the meters from a very young age. It was shocking to the school system. Because in a very poor environment, they highlight those who are special, or they think, this kid is different. And my teachers knew right away, especially the first 4 years of my schooling. They knew I was something different. I was not easily going along with the program. I've always questioned things and wanted to know, well, why? I just didn't take things at face value. Now, let's get back to the lesson. Now, signing bonuses. We all know what a signing bonus is, right? You get a promised lump sum of money from the moment you sign the contract. It's normally designed and everything else, and normally the signing bonus is more than 15%, but sometimes it can't be more than 15% of the compensational contract base salary that you already got, But offer sheets cannot include a signing bonus that exceeds 10% of the compensation. Yep. Now, let's talk about it. Maximum player salaries. Get that max player salary. Right? Well, this is crazy because max rules and minimum rules are all different. See, in the max rules, it's the amount of money a player can make in a single season. That's called the max player. When you make the most money you can make in a season. All right, for that player, depending on a lot of factors, your years in the league, the type of contract you got, all of this stuff matters and is covered, right, by the contract, your negotiations, everything. It's all riding on it. Players can get the Supermax salary if they meet certain criterias based on performance, 6 years or less, 7 to 9 years, 10 years plus. We've seen now players ain't even been in the league 6 years and they up for Supermax. It all depends on the terminologies of what's going on in the situations they have in front of them. Now, designated rookie scales, like on a player extension plan, the first round draft pick, they got to complete about 3 years of service, right? And this is called the Supermax. Okay? And the Supermax was created to try to keep players on the same damn team and keep them from bouncing around the league, right? So the Supermax, it doesn't seem to be working because people are still leaving millions on the table, which makes no sense, which I'm going to explain that too. Now, stay with me. Now, the first year's salary for the Supermax, right? It can, but it's not really required to be about 25 to 30% of that year's salary cap. If the player meets one of the performance-based criteria, that means that the player cannot include any other incentive compensations to get the Supermax. They cannot, they got to provide, I think, 8% of the annual salary, right? You must provide like a full 8% annual salary increase for each year, of the extended term, Let's just say when Joel Embiid was the designated rookie, he was under what they call a player extension, right? His salary was 25% of the cap. So in the first year, the team extended his term to 25 in 2018 or something like that, 2018-19 season. So including, he had an 8% in increases. His original projected value was extended with everything included to be 146 altogether. So in his extension included a clause that increased his salary to 30% of the salary cap if he made an NBA All-NBA first team. And if he achieved that honor, his extension overall value would increase by $30 million. We all know this because Donovan Mitchell just got screwed out of his. Right? So this should be familiar to you. Joel Embiid got his money, but they just screwed over Donovan Mitchell, who did not make an All-NBA team. Criminal, isn't it? And it's all because, I'm going to say it right here, and I never said it yet to anybody. Only people in the NBA world know. It's because of that interview, post-game interview he did. When he said, y'all know what's going on. I can't talk about it, but y'all know what it is. And it's just frustrating. That cost him tens of millions of dollars by him doing that. Still want to know the truth? Still want to know how this gets broke down? Now, let's say you're in your 5th year and you're an eligible player. So you got 4 years of service in and can be paid by your current team only. Because this is what the thing Supermax is for, to keep you on your team. Up to 30% of the cap is performance-based. A 5th year player can be eligible to receive that starting salary, but nothing greater than 25% of the cap. You got to sign a contract covering 4 years, including an optional year. So you become a 5th year eligibility player. Now, veteran players extension. Woof. If you're a vet, a player you got a 7 or 8 years of service, they consider that veteran status. So, and you go into year 9, this is to sign what they call a designated veterans player extension. And that means all your services and current team can be paid a salary in the first year of the extension of at least 30%, but no more than 35% of the salary cap. That cannot include your incentive compensation, and your salary may increase or decrease in the extended term, but only up to 8% of the salary in the first year of the extension. Okay? In the first year. Must pay attention to that. First year. That's for the veterans. If the contract with a player, you was on another team, the Larry Bird rule, salary caps increases must be up to 8% of the salary in the first year of the contract. Otherwise, it's the general rule. You know, salary may increase by up to 5% of the salary in the first year of the contract. So, that's Supermax. Well, is there a regular max? Yeah, you can get a max contract. You already heard that. Get the max deal. You get the max for the minimum at DJ Maxx. Okay, no. Max contract deal. A player can receive a max contract. You know, but let's say you got named to an All-NBA first, second, or third team. So it's basically the same thing as a Supermax, you know. When you get that, you're basically doing the same thing. And you're going through the same process. There's no real big change. There's no real big structure. It's the same thing. It's just that a player can receive a Supermax salary on your max deal, but you can get a max performance-based contract. And that's just saying, look, you got to hit these criteria notes. And that was what Donovan Mitchell had. And he basically hit that and still got screwed. And yeah, they can have, like, if you guys make the playoffs, you guys win a division, you can have all these different criteria set up. So everybody's contract is not going to be the same. Now, if someone's coming in and they're getting paid the minimum, let's say they come from the G League or something, and now they're getting paid the minimum amount of money a player can make. Who could I use for example? Let's say a rookie, okay? Or somebody who just came in there existing. They're getting the minimum player salary, they ain't played a game yet in the NBA, and you're getting paid $890,000 in your first year of your contract. Let's say you got 10 years. So that's a player with 0 years. A player with 10 years, a minimum player salary he'll make about 2.5 in his first year. I mean, first year of a minimum player salary. If you got more than 10 years. Listen, a 10-day contract, right? Let's say you got a 10-day contract. These are minimum player salaries and all these things. This is where it differs. If you got a 10-day contract and let's say the rest of the season, the contract pays players less than the minimum annual salary scale. That amount, because each of the contracts is prorated, your compensation will be paid for your days of service in the NBA. So you'll be prorated. The minimum player salary rule doesn't apply to summer league contracts and stuff like that, and non-guarantee, like training camp stuff. You don't get paid for that. They can receive payments that is set by the collective bargaining agreement. So that's that. Now, they dictate what it goes by as far as what a player would make in that service. Let's say 2-year deal, they might get 1.6 when it's all together. It's a massive increase from coming from the G League. You're really pushing for that established salary cap. You look at players like Luol Deng, who was a 15-year veteran. He agreed to that buyout with the Lakers when he was on their books and wasn't even playing for years, but they still had to eat his contract every year. He was making $2.4 million just for nothing, just because they had to keep paying out his contract. So, try to swallow that. Yeah, y'all still with me? Y'all learning? Got my liquid courage in me. Got that liquid courage in me, baby. The rookie cap. Oh, you remember the rookie cap. That's when the players start complaining, all the veterans, that these rookies are coming in. And I remember Glenn Big Dog came in and got $64 million as a rookie, walking through the door, guaranteed money. Woo! Boy, they was mad. They were mad when Big Dog got that money, boy. Whew. Big Dog. Shouts out to Kwame Brown Bus Life. Subscribe to him. Subscribe to me. Hit that like button. Subscribe to Self Talk. Subscribe to HD. Man, all these great people out here making videos and content for you. So many great people out there. So many. Boxing Socialist Sean, he done got himself a new camera. He back active now. People out here making moves. CP, what's up? CP for the Win got his own. The CP for the Win show, I think. And he out here making it happen. People out here making it happen. I try to catch everybody video, at least some of it. I still got to watch one of HD's, man. But he had like so many coming out in one day. I'm like, man, HD got another one. I was just watching some of this one. He getting like me now. Yeah, so yeah, definitely, man. My Cash App is Karceno, and I appreciate everybody who's hit up my Cash App. I really do appreciate it, even during the holidays, man. Y'all sent me a quick, beautiful message saying God bless you and your family, and you like the way I always say God bless, and I'll never take that for granted. That's right, the Most High, the Most High teacher, the Creator, always give the blessings to Him. Can you believe people still even doubt He exists or that it is one? Like this was all an accident? I'm like, every day you take a breath, that's your reminder. That's your fact that there is one. It's crazy. But anyway, let's talk about rookie contracts. Now, the rookie salary cap, like, I don't really know it as much as it's set in stone, but I think it's they go by current base. I know they have another one where it's about the scale can include like the signing bonuses or a loan. Let's say you got a loan or something. Can't be that. It can't be included in the signer's bonus and all that stuff. So whatever it is, it's the current base contract that you got. If you get any type of unlikely bonus, it cannot exceed over 120% of your rookie scale contract. Now, if you're in the rookie deal in about your fourth year and the team exercises the option for, like, let's say a fourth year, the money is increased by the percentage wise. And that's based on the scales they got for the rookie contract. It could always go up or down. You know that. Now, let's talk about protections for your pay. You know, the amount of protection, all that stuff can be negotiated. That's been normally done between lawyers. Nobody really reads that stuff. But it's 25, 75, and 100% of your money. Okay, that's how that works. That's how the limit is. Let's say it's your base pay is protected in a two-way contract thing. A certain amount is protected by the automatic stretch provisions, and that allows override of players to receive their money. Let's say it's allowed for a team to just pay you what they think should be paid to you and protect it by your salary remaining in the deal. You know, so let's say you got a contract plus one more year. The salary will not be stretched out, you know, over future seasons. The stretch rules can only come into play when it's calculating monies for cap purposes. If it's not for cap purposes, they can't do it. We've seen them abuse this rule 1,000 times. They was like, dude, that's not for the cap. You can't do that. That's illegal. You can't do that for the cap purposes. That is a no-no. It's only for cap purposes. No other way can they do it. They can amend a contract. Let's say they want to amend it, right? They want to go and amend it or reduce eliminated players' compensation protection. Let's say the player got suspended or he's no longer on the team. So you want to take the protection off. But, you know, so if you take the protection off, then you can terminate the contract. And, you know, they agree to a buyout or something. They're talking about part of the bargaining agreement that they got. There's a reduction of elimination that's done. And when you get that reduction of elimination and all of that is done by like normally July the 1st, they try to go through that and have it covered by the time dates. They can have other reasons why they can void a contract. the player passes away, unfortunately. Bobby Sims, he died in a car accident, racing somebody after practice. Former school teacher made it to the NBA on the Cleveland Cavs. He died racing his car on the freeway, speeding, and all these different things. Reckless driving, and died in a car accident trying to race another teammate home. He was a solid player too. It was a tragedy. And that right there, like if a player, by death, like they feel like you don't have any skills anymore, like let's say your ability to perform, they don't think it's good enough. They're not happy with your production. They could lift that and terminate your contract. So they got to release the your compensation protection. Let's say you have an illness, or like when Magic Johnson had AIDS, or any basketball related injury. That's still a tough CBA, bargaining agreement situation, but that is another one. You could have a mental disability that comes into play, but you get it, right? You get what I'm saying. So there's no need to go down that one even further, but you get it. Now let's talk about the salary increases and decreases before we go into two-way. Let's take the Larry Bird rule, right? We all know that. What they call it, the early Larry Bird rule. So they call it the Bird players, or the early Bird players. I got to get by my charger because my phone was like, we thought this was going to be 5 minutes. Negro, you still talking. My phone battery just got super dark. So please forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm going to come here and put my phone on the charger. Sorry about that. I don't want you to miss none of the good stuff. And boom, just like that, we all good. So, what are we talking about? Salary increases and decreases, right? I think that's what we were talking about. Now, the Larry Bird, early Bird, and all that stuff, like in the first season of the contract, about up to 5%, right? Let's say you're a qualifying free agent, which means you must be a veteran. And this is when it normally happens, when you see salary increases and decreases. Let's say the team can have a salary increase, but it's got to be about 8%, right? We already went through the 8%, and then under the 5% for maximum increases, and all of those different things, right? Let's use LeBron James. LBJ, yo king. Yep, that's right. Always talking about me. It's all about me. LeBron James, your hero. Let's talk about his contract with the Lakers. When he came over to the Lakers, right? He was a free agent. Signed a 4-year deal with the Lakers, only including 5% of the annual salary increase, right? Because he did not re-sign with his current team. So you get it, right? If it was his current team, it'd be 8%. But because he went away and signed his deal, it's 5%. See, you're going to be an expert by the time this is over. You will be an expert by the time this is over. Now, in his first year, LeBron got what? What they say, 35 mil. In the first year, that's 35% of that year's salary cap. Okay? Second year, he got 37 million. Third year, 39 million. In his fourth year, he gets 41 million. Now, in the fifth year, okay, if it's a fifth year, then they got to renegotiate. But 5% of year one, his salary is increased by 1.7. Okay? When Chef Curry, went back to Golden State, right? And he signed a 5-year Supermax. Now, Steph deal is all you up again. Because now his 5 years is running up. Because he's up for term again. When he signed that, it included an 8%. Why? Because he was with his current team. So he got 8%. So the first year, he got $34 million. Then, second year, 37, then 40, then 43, then 45, and year 5, he gets up to 45. Now, 8% of the first year's salary is increased by $2.7 million because he gets 8%, not 5. Same team, bro. Same team. A two-way salary. Let's go to that. Two-way salary for the league. See, G League, this is mostly for G League or an NBA team given any day. We kind of explained it a little bit, but mostly it's like 75,000 to like 90-some thousand. But that depends on the collective bargaining agreement rules. But that's like G League stuff. But they get like 75,000 altogether, which is nothing to really scoff at. But some of them are making less than that. It's like while playing in the league, the salary and stuff that you do for your years of service, this is where those 2-year contracts come into play. It's equivalent to 0 years of service. The actual salary goes to the NBA to determine what they should be getting paid, which is why they're getting like 75,000, some giving 92. I've seen some making way less than that beforehand. Then it's hard to explain the escrow rule to people because, excuse me, but players, then in the negotiations when they had to hold out, the escrow rule was changed to 51% to 49%. Okay? The players and owners did a split of 49 to 51%. The players get 49% and 51 goes to the owners. Now, to make sure that the players only receive their split, each team withholds 10% of the players' individual salaries from their paycheck and deposit that money into an escrow account. And at the end of the year, they determine whether or how much money will go to the players or back to the league. Can you imagine that? But those are the rules. These are the luxury taxes that you call the escrow accounts. But it's possible that the total player costs and all these things are much less now, because they have like what they call the collective bargaining agreement that they came out with, that they get profit sharing, as far as different things that's going on in the league. Some players get part of the profits, because of the unique rule applications, right? So different provisions come into play there. So hopefully that explains a lot to you when it comes down to contracts. Now let's get to some of the taxes and the earnings, right? If I played in the NBA, I would want to play, and I would demand I play in Houston, Texas, or Florida. So I'll be on the Miami Heat, the Spurs, the Heat. The Rockets or the Mavs. Them the only teams in the league I'm gonna play for because they got no state tax. James Harden. Remember him? When he went to the Brooklyn Nets, he will lose about $13.5 million in taxes. $13.5 in taxes. Why is he losing 13.5 in taxes? You might ask. Well, our Karceno will tell you why he's losing that. Because the state tax, his takeaway from that contract he had, which was about $80 million over the last 3 seasons, that's $67 million out of his $133 million contract, right? That he's putting into perspective. Harden will take home about 60% of that money. Right? Not no more. He was taking 60. Now he's taking 50. A 10% plus drop just from getting traded. I mean, just seeing how different. I'm quite sure the NBA or somebody agent told him we're gonna make that money up. You got to make up 13.5 a year, every year, just for you to be in Brooklyn, because of that New York tax. Well, when you're paying approximately 37% of your salaries to the federal government, however the local taxes are, that's based on the state and the city where a player can be, set up or anything, where it's Cali, where it's really high in Cali. Citizens are paying like 12.3 in additional taxes, for different places like Houston or let's say Texas, Miami, Florida, it's no income tax. So, I might play for the Raptors. I don't think the Raptors were paying taxes. Kawhi should have stayed. See, James Harden is a case in point where, like if you stayed there, you'd have been in a great position. You was in a great city. You was under the highest tax bracket, which was like that 8%. So you didn't have to pay any of the city's income tax. But due to your trade, now you got to pay NYC taxes, man. And you will fall under the highest tax bracket, but it's of 3.8% in New York. So you paying 12.7% more of your contract due to the trade than what you did when you was with the Rockets, man. See, players pay about an average of 3% of their salaries to what they call the jock tax. And that's just the sports tax, basically, which can be shrunk to 1% if a player plays in a home city with a state tax. You see, other reductions that need to be accounted for is the agent fees, the luxury tax that we were just talking about, and your players association union, all these things, that you got to pay for, all these reductions, all of these things come raining down on you. Okay? Man, you got to think about 401k, all your 401k money that they put in, that's about what? Almost 20 grand. I don't think nobody would have a problem giving up 20 grand, but still, that's 20 grand. You have other reductions that's being explored. So an NBA player can easily go broke. When you retire from making that money and that money stops, you don't have any other secondary job that's bringing in that kind of revenue. All of those bills are going to stay the same. So everything going to drop. It's like it's going to fall off a cliff. And you got to find a way to keep that compensation. That's why you got to have multiple incomes. Most people they're popular because they're playing. Once they're not playing no more, there's no real demand for these people. And the fans are treat you like batteries. You old yesterday's news. I'm serious. You think about all the legends that played in the 80s and 90s and even in the 2000s. Ain't nobody going, oh my God, it's Tim Duncan. Oh, ain't no thousands of fans rushing to see Tim Duncan. He's 5 championship rings he got. Ain't nobody breaking the doors down for Timmy. When you're done playing, they're done with you. The average player makes about $8 million a year. If 37% of the players, 37% of the money, is taken away in federal income tax, right? 3% for what they call the jock tax, your agent fees, and $20,000 for about 401k. Let's do the numbers then. Let's do math. Okay, that's 8 million, right? And let's say 37% of that 8 million. So you're coming out about what? Almost close to 3. So let's just say 3 million. So you already then lost 37%. And that's federal income tax. Right? Your 37% comes from that. 3% is coming for your jock tax. So that's about 3 million for the 37% of the 8 million. That's almost 3 million. So you got 5. You're going to lose about 3%. So you're going to be losing about close to 240,000. You're going to be losing that. So now you're down to almost like 4.7 you're almost at now. 20,000 for 401k. So you had about 4.5 or probably less. You probably like 4.6. Then you're looking at about what 50 some percent of your starting salary. You're about at 4 million, and when you pay all the taxes and everything, you're about at like 4 or 5. Let's round it up at 4 or 5. You're at 4,000,005 already. So your $8 million deal is down to 4 or 5 after paying all of this. This is what an average player would have to pay if they stayed in a place that had no city tax. See? We didn't even include a city tax or state tax. We did federal. That's the government. The government. That's what that was about. So now, city or state tax, you at 4.5. Try adding the city and state tax. Now you're screwed. Now you see what we're talking about. So that's why they have all these special terms and everything put in place for these type of provisions right here. So definitely hit the like button, man. Support the page. The Patreon, we're going to talk more on there tomorrow. We got a lot of good things for you. So I'm very happy for that we got set up, and I appreciate it. Shouts out to everybody who's watched this video. It's been a blessing to share some advice with you. And probably some things I missed on here just from my brain and not knowing or forgot. So you guys could add on. You know, ask Kwame questions about it. I'm quite sure he'll tell you too, because he played in the league. So he knows what it's like. And how easy it is for players to not be able to keep up that financial income and avenues not being there for you once your career is over. You know, some of those doors that was open while you were playing are not open anymore to you. So definitely support our pages, man. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the like button so they can know that you guys love this, man, that you guys want to be here. We appreciate having all of you. I'm out.